Hey everybody, Scary Spikes here, welcoming you to another episode of Learn2Magic. Thank you so much for joining me this week. The video is a little bit late, unfortunately. I've been having some issues with work and being called in continuously. I had very little time to actually work on the video, so I do apologize. But this week we are going to be looking at a black deck, and of course black being very famous for its tutor ability, for its kill spell ability. It has some of the best kill spells and tutors in the game of Magic. It is definitely worthy of mention. But first we're going to play our 2-drop maggot here, the brain maggot, which allows us to look at our opponent's hand and see what they have, and that is a scary hand. So he's got, let's see, he's got 2 demons, Shadowborn and Gristlebrand. He's got the Death Touch Scorpion, and he's got an Undying with 2 islands. Fortunately, he doesn't have any black to play any of this stuff yet, but I think we're going to take the Shadowborn Demon just because I have the removal for the 3 toughness Scorpion, and he's not going to be able to play his Gristlebrand for a very long time. So, considering that he's got green, it leads me to believe that he's probably running Cultivate. If he is running Cultivate, he's going to be able to ramp into black very, very soon, and in fact a lot sooner than I'd probably like him to. So, we're going to take the Shadowborn Demon as a precaution to basically make him wait until the late game to play anything good. So, we'll play another land for turn, and I think it's safe to attack. He's got 2 green and a blue, so we're going to attack with our 1/1 Brain Maggot with the Shadowborn Demon underneath. And then we're going to play a Bloodghast and pass the turn. So, like I mentioned, black has some of the best tutor abilities. It has some of the best kill spells in the game, but one of the other things that black does that a lot of people, especially new Magic players, aren't familiar with is it does a little bit of damage to you to do a lot of damage to your opponent. And not necessarily damage as in actual damage, but just the sheer ability of destroying hands, being able to make your opponent discard, sacrifice, kill their stuff. And you know, there's actually some decent card advantage cards in black as well, namely the tutor cards, which allow you basically to play them for a low cost in order to get a more important card out of your library or even out of your graveyard. But less importantly, there are some other cards that do have great draw abilities. For instance, one of the cards that we have in our hand here, which is the demon here, I wanted to say Blood Gift Demon, Indulgent Tormentor, which is the last card that you see in our hand here. It's a 5/3 flying, and basically what he allows us to do is at the beginning of our upkeep we give our opponent the choice to either draw us a card, or he gets to sacrifice a creature or pay 3 life. So he can do either of those. There's the Cultivate. So almost right on cue there, trying to get his black sources in order to play his big hefty demon. 2 black sources in fact. So that's leading me to be a little bit concerned. We do draw a Graveborn Muse, which is really nice. And I think we're going to move straight to combat here because of our Bloodghast being able to come back with the landfall trigger. So basically what Bloodghast does is he has haste if our opponent is at 10 or less health. He's a 2/1, and he basically comes back from the graveyard to the battlefield once we play a land. So here we go, we got rid of his Elvish Visionary, we play a land to bring him back, and then we play our Graveborn Muse. Graveborn Muse is a really cool card, and again leads back to that discussion I was having about some draw ability in black decks and black cards. This one in particular allows you to draw a card at the beginning of your turn and lose a life for each card you draw, according to the amount of zombies that you have. So right now we only have the 1 zombie, so that means we'll be losing 1 but drawing 2 cards because we have 1 from our draw step and of course 1 from the Graveborn Muse. This is usually a little bit better in somewhat of a life gain zombie deck. It's a bit of a weird hybrid, but if you have a way of basically gaining the life back that you lose from Graveborn Muse drawing you a bunch of cards, and if you had a zombie deck you'd be drawing a lot of cards, so you'd be losing a lot of life, you could potentially just keep drawing a bunch of cards and gain insane card advantage on your opponent, which is a really, really great way to win Magic games. So here we go, we get to draw 2 cards, which is fantastic. We take a life, so we go down to 16. And we've got another Indulgent Tormentor, which is really, really cool. It seems like our opponent isn't really presenting a big threat. I'm not exactly worried about any pump up because he has no green available. And I'm not worried if he blocks the Bloodghast because, well, we can just play a land next turn and bring him back, and he's not able to block anyway. Okay, so this is interesting. He's going to Voyage's End my Bloodghast and Undying Evil Oh no, he's going to Voyage's End my Graveborn Muse and Undying Evil his 1/1. So what we're going to do is we're going to ulcerate that in response to it being Undying, or it gaining Undying. Which means if he gets Undying on a creature, when it dies, it does come back with a +1/+1 counter. But because we were able to kill it before it died, before it was, sorry, kill it before it died, kill it before it got the Undying basically fizzles because there's no target anymore for the Undying. So let's play our Graveborn Muse once again, and I think our opponent here is in quite a bit of trouble. So he plays another Death Touch, which is a bit of a problem for us, but hopefully we draw into some removal. So we're going to untap. Graveborn Muse is going to draw us a land and a removal spell. That's perfect. So since we have the Bloodghast out, we're not going to be playing the land for turn. And we're going to go to combat. So what we'll do is, I think we're going to declare our attackers, and then before he can declare blocks, we're going to kill that thing. So we are taking a little bit of damage. Again, as I discussed before, black is one of those colors where you're going to be doing a little bit of damage to yourself to really do a number on your opponent. And this is what I mean. So we're down to 9, but more importantly, we're doing consistent damage to our opponents. So he's going to be taking 5 damage here, bringing him down to 11. We didn't really need to play the land to bring the Bloodghast back, but it's good to play a land nevertheless. And then we've got an Indulgent Tormentor into play. So now at the beginning of our upkeep, he gets to choose whether to sacrifice a creature, lose 3 life, or let us draw a card. And he's going to cultivate. He really wants to get into that Griselbrand, but I feel like this game is just going to end. And yep, he's got nothing, so we just win the game here unless he has a bounce or something. So thank you very, very much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. If you like what you see, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe, and check out the blog over at sspgaming.blogspot.com. Of course, stay tuned for Heroes of the Storm, which should be coming up a little bit later this evening, and hopefully you guys enjoy. So thank you once again for joining me. Make sure to join me next week for some more Learn2Magic, as well as the regularly scheduled stuff on the channel, and have a great day. Take care, guys. Bye for now.